My biracial sister called my white parents racist, so I may have to kick her out of the family. My adopted sister resents my infertile parents because she decided she hates the concept of adoption.
Wow, what an opener.
So I disinvited her from my wedding and tried to reconcile, but it got even worse. So I am the youngest of 2 children. My parents always wanted a big family, but they had a string of miscarriages, so they turned to adoption. They had a baby girl through a closed adoption. Then 7 months after they adopted my sister, they conceived me.
I wonder if OP's sister feels like second fiddle.
My parents said that I was their miracle baby. For context, my parents and I are white. My sister is Hispanic and black. Growing up, my sister and I were best friends. We did everything together and people said we acted like twins. We stayed best friends into adulthood until she found her biological family.
Interesting.
At first, I was happy for her. My sister always said that she felt like something was missing and finding her family seemed to be the missing piece. But then she started to treat my parents differently. She would constantly berate them for choosing to adopt because she said adoption, especially transracial adoption, was wrong. She said that the experience was traumatizing to her and that she wasn't properly prepared for being a person of color due to their color blindness. I stayed out of it because her relationship with my parents wasn't my business. But when she made my mom cry after a particularly cruel remark, I started distancing myself from her. I think at this point in the story, the sister is like, I grew up my whole life in a white family that doesn't understand my experience being Hispanic, being black, or being a woman of color.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I don't know if you can fault the parents for I don't like an adoption is like a lottery.
I'm sure they got proposed this baby. If they were like, oh, we don't want this baby.
Yeah,
that's a whole different story.
You want someone that understands like
what you're going to go through and everything in life
through the world.
Yep.
But also like you just want someone that ultimately just like loves you and cares for you at the end of the day.
Yes.
Which it seems like the parents did.
For context, my sister said that they should have gotten therapy for their infertility instead of becoming baby snatchers.
That's, that's one of those things like that's a hard thing to take back.
Even though we aren't friends anymore, my sister and I couldn't imagine severing the relationship. And I definitely couldn't imagine disinviting her from my wedding. She was the one who introduced me to my fiance after all. So literally the sister is the reason why OP's getting married.
Oh, that's so much more complicated.
So I told myself that she was my sister no matter what. And I kept her in the wedding as my maid of honor.
Wow. I mean, but is like this, how's the sister going to interact with the parents?
From everything we've seen thus far, probably not well. But I changed my mind after she posted a picture of herself with her biological siblings. She captioned it, "It's been such a relief to find my real family. I finally feel like I'm home."
I wouldn't have phrased it like that.
Yeah.
Like it's definitely like a little bit of a gut punch, but that doesn't feel as egregious as the
baby snatching. Since I didn't trust myself to call her, I sent a text. "Since you don't see me as your real sister, there's no reason for you and her boyfriend's name to come to my wedding."
Wow.
I blocked her number after that. She blocked me on everything in response.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Our mutual friends are telling me that she's calling me a racist.
Wait, what?
I don't think there's any way to come back from this. I'm heartbroken about losing my sister, and I'm heartbroken that I never had one in the first place. Man, oh man, there is more.
Okay. Well, just first, like
if you want to give a
just really quick pit stop. I mean, like the thing about OP being like a racist, like that doesn't make sense. I think it's just the sister, acting out and being like hurt. I don't know if I would have blocked the sister.
Right. If OP should have blocked the
I don't
sister,
think OP should have blocked the sister, because it's like, what if OP was going to say like, oh, like I didn't even mean it like that.
Very true.
Yeah.
Probably like a fit of rage type.
Yeah. I understand where OP is coming from and why OP did that. I think what would have been more telling is like, hey, I just saw your post. What did you mean by that? I've always seen you as a sister, like coming at from that end. And then if she's like, you're racist.
Right.
You were never, a sibling to me anyway. Then uninvite for the wedding. Yeah, I don't know.
But Sam, there's an edit. Woo! We talked this morning.
Oh, okay. This is juicy.
The communication line is reopened.
There we go.
One of our mutual friends asked me to unblock my sister on her behalf. I called her and we had a very long conversation about everything. I apologized for blocking and disinviting her without talking to her first. So
that's good.
To your point, she apologized for being hurtful in the post. She's going to delete the post calling me a racist and publicly apologize for calling me one. We agreed to keep each other blocked on social media because it would only lead to hurt feelings otherwise. She is still coming to my wedding, but not as the maid of honor. We're not back to where we were, but my sister says that this is a good thing. Now that we got all our feelings out in the open, we can build a healthier and stronger relationship. Thank you for all the DMs. They helped me articulate myself while also staying sympathetic to her point of view.
That's better.
A big improvement. It seems like they had a true, honest conversation.
Which doesn't happen very often in these stories. So I'm like really happy that it did.
Yeah. Savor those feelings, Sam.
Don't ruin it for me. Don't ruin it for me.
Update.
Wait, are you actually going to ruin this for me?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
The people telling me not to reconcile were right.
No.
After my last post, I got comments and DMs saying that I shouldn't have reconciled with her. I should have listened. Yesterday, my parents offered to treat us to dinner. I couldn't make it, but my sister decided to go. From what my mom told me, the topic of my sister's adoption came up. They got into a fight about it in the middle of a crowded restaurant. It ended after my sister said that my parents should have accepted from their miscarriages that was a sign from God that they weren't meant to be parents.
Not to like justify any of her behavior, but I wonder if subconsciously she was treated worse. I just want to know why she feels like this.
For context, my parents are very religious. Growing up, they told us that God got them through the heartbreak of those miscarriages. My parents aren't perfect, but they didn't deserve that. Nobody does. I'm tired of making excuses for my sister. I'm tired of being sympathetic to her trauma when she weaponizes it to hurt others. I'm done. I should have been done after the baby snatching comment. She's not in my life anymore, and I'm trying to convince my parents to do the same. I sent her one final text. I can't believe you would say that to Mom. What the F is wrong with you? Don't contact me again. Go be with your real family and leave us the hell alone.
Wow. Okay. I don't think it's OP's place to say don't be like, don't interact with her. It's like, sure, maybe that like the OP's sister doesn't think that she's part of the family, but like a kid going through a goth phase or something where it's like, you're not my parents. It's like the parents are still going to be like, no, you're our kid.
Yeah.
Like we raised you. As much as they may like that kid may try to hurt the parent, like usually the parents are always going to be like, that's still my kid. Even if it's hard. So, and
it seems like these parents, especially as well.
Yeah. So I don't think OP should be like, you shouldn't have contact with her.
Yeah.
Because that's ultimately not up to OP.
Yeah.
But I don't think OP needs to have her in OP's life. In their life. Yeah.
I'm curious. I want to hear from all of you. Let us know in the comment section. Who is the a-hole? Who is the angel? Give us your full breakdown.
But I think OP is on the more on the angel side than the a-hole side. I think like there were some like a-holy behavior or not like as sympathetic or as like angelic as they could be. Yeah. But definitely gave the sister more breaks than I think most would have given.
Yeah.
The sister feels a little bit like the a-hole. Parents, angels. Parents, I feel like are, I don't know, at least in this story, it seems like they haven't really done anything wrong.
So I think like kind of diving into the parents and adopted daughters like dynamic, I think people like to overcomplicate it. Let me put it as simple as this. A father will never completely understand a daughter's perspective, because it's like there's things that, for women that men don't have to deal with and vice versa. It's just a different experience, right? Being a man and being a woman. So like take that same logic and apply it to like being a white parent and raising a Hispanic and black child. Like you won't know, especially if you don't come from those communities, which we can only guess these parents did not. You don't have, even if you have a lot of context, you don't have all of the knowledge of being able to work with them and prepare them for the experiences they're going to have, right? Again, just the same as like if there's a single father, with a daughter, well, the dad won't know what it's like to have a period, same thing applies over. So, I totally think it's fair to say that there's probably lots of things, and including like, what if she grew up in a white neighborhood and never got to connect with people that had similar ancestral roots to her, shared her culture, the food, the tradition, like everything. And then she becomes an adult and she was like, I was missing out on all of these things. And I could also even see where it almost feels like you've been blocked from that because you're like, hey, you didn't put me in the situations where I could connect with these people potentially. So I totally think there is a myriad of things where it's like OP's probably super frustrated where she didn't have the chance to
OP's sister
be prepared for these situations, to connect with her culture, other people in her culture, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Now, and the parents, even though they might have had insanely good intentions, they might have simply been ignorant, which is fine. Like they literally just don't know. You know what I mean? So it seems from everything that I can gather in this story, it seems that the parents had great intentions, that they love this child, and that they probably did what they could to give her the best childhood
which is
possible.
What any parent does.
Which is what any parent does.
Even if you have a kid that's your own, you are going to be ignorant of so many things in 100%. Raising that child, right? And so it's like the only thing you can do is just try to love that kid the best you can.
Yeah.
And it seems like these parents tried their best.
To your point earlier, probably what happened was they were like, hey, here's this baby up for adoption. They were like, yes, we want to give this baby a home. And like it's kind of just like just the circumstance that like it kind of is what it is in a way. It's like the baby needed a home. Opie's parents wanted to give the baby a home, but they just weren't like the perfect match in terms of being able to fully understand and educate them on what was going to happen in her life. So it's like, but the parents, I'm sure, tried and like did they put effort into being a good parent. That's what they were trying to do, right? So at the end of the day, to be completely, and maybe like you were saying, maybe this is a phase where like OP is literally like her eyes are like opening to everything all at once, and she's like, what? You know what I mean? So maybe it's just like she has to kind of process all of this stuff.
Yeah, I think this is a processing period. I think this is a processing period. I think what's probably happening is OP is like feeling into her OP's sister is feeling into her identity.
Yes.
Right. And I think when you're feeling into an identity, you can push away the identity that you had been given.
Yeah. Before.
Or forced, or maybe it felt forced upon you or something.
Yeah. Because it was all there was.
Fit the mold. Yeah. It didn't, maybe it never quite fit the mold of who you thought you were.
Yeah.
And then finally you're like, oh, there's this other thing. And then you're really trying to just accept this new part of yourself and reject the old part. And I think it's a pendulum, right?
Yeah.
Like there's a period of intense rejection and then it will balance out and like come back. And I think these parents probably have a little bit of perspective on that.
Yeah.
And realize that like that's kind of part of parenting where there's phases your kids go through and they'll be like, I hate you, mom and dad. And then, there'll be times when they need you and then there'll be times when they understand you a little bit more.
Yeah.
I think this is a little bit of a phase. It's a shitty phase.
Oh yeah.
But I think it's a phase.
Opie's probably having the same reaction on the flip side of the coin where it's like, Opie's like, what the hell? I thought we were sisters. When it's like the sister is processing all of these new things and it's like it's all stuff that OP can't fully understand. And then she's lashing out. I mean, very hard. So, and to be clear, I do think that like, I can't really fault the parents too much. Because like, again, I do think that they definitely tried from all the context that we have. And again, guessing from what we have in the story, it seems like they at least like provided a home, provided love, etc. So it would have been nice to get even more, like it would be perfect if we could hear like the parents and the sisters perspective. That would really paint the full picture. I feel like
I feel like I really am craving a little bit more from the sister.
Yeah.
Just because like, I don't know. I don't know why she's feeling.
What if something like
specifically, what if something super traumatic happened?
That like, and maybe even the parents didn't even realize that it was, but it was, or maybe they, it was like bad intentioned. Who knows? We don't know.
Yeah.
But man,
we want to know what you guys think. Please put it in the comments. But John, I have a story about a psychic and some sexy time with a grandma.
Take me there, Poppy.